Yes, God, Yes, which is on VOD. It's written and directed by Karen May, and she was the writer of Obvious Child, but this is her directorial debut and an expansion of a short film she made a few years ago. This is the week's second coming-of-age film. There have been a lot of coming-of-age films released during lockdown. This is absolutely one of the better ones. It stars Natalia Dyer as Alice, this is the actress who played Nancy in Stranger Things. She plays a 16-year-old girl who is at a fairly devout Catholic school, and she has reached the point in her schooling at which the school is going to be obliged to talk about growing up and the new kind of urges and feelings that are going to come along with that experience. And the school's line on this is total prohibition. It's abstinence. Submitting or even entertaining these sort of feelings is a complete sin. And Father Murphy, who's played by Timothy Simons, lays down the law almost as if chastity is a kind of a protection racket. He concludes the first class on this saying, God is always watching. Capiche? Now, Alice feels guilty about having, rewound the car scene in Titanic to rewatch it. So she is obviously, very, very intensely attuned to these new feelings that she's starting to experience, but she's being told by responsible adults around her, and also seemingly by the behaviour of her classmates, that this is all completely, off the book. She's also marked out as someone who is of potentially dubious morals when this completely absurd rumour starts to circulate the school about something that she has done, this completely baroque sexual act, which would obviously, to anyone with any sense would never be remotely plausible. But her friends seem to believe it. Worse still, the staff at the school seem to believe it's happened as well. So when the class goes away for this 4-day spiritual retreat, she has been effectively earmarked as someone to look out for. So she's away with our friend Laura, and the essence of it is, it's exactly as you would imagine. With all these hormones running riot, sending all these kids away to a camp together is going to cause, sparks to fly. And there is a certain hunky guy in the class called Chris, who's played by Wolfgang Novogratz, who has very handsome, hairy arms and wears wooden beads and is generally an appealing character. And Alice starts to think of ways at which she can become close to him without looking like she's trying to get close to him. And staging a trip on a hike is one such thing. Here's a clip.
Would you look at how these gorgeous pines contrast against the blue sky? Isn't God's paint palette just magnificent?
So did I tell you Nina told me she liked my hair this morning at breakfast? Mm-hmm. And she said she can't do it with her own hair because every time she tries it, her hair gets all bumpy. So I said I could show her how I do it, and she said she would invite me over sometime. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I mean, you can come too, of course, if you want. Well, maybe I should ask Nina first if it's okay that you're there, but, I mean, do you even want to come? Oh my God! Are you okay?
Everything okay here, troops? Oh, comrade. It's quite a battle.
So it's difficult to describe much more about Alice's journey of self-discovery on air, not because what happens is explicit. I mean, the film isn't explicit in the slightest, but it is incredibly frank. And it seems to have been coming from a place of, intense, if not direct personal experience, that this is something that the writer and director Karen Manis has thought about very carefully. It's working in the tradition of John Hughes. Interestingly, it's co-produced by Chris Columbus, who was John Hughes' protege. But unusually for this kind of film, the visual style of it is close to deadpan. Alice is obviously this roiling knot of hormones and emotions. But the film steps back from her almost like it's looking at Oliver Hardy kind of processing these various disasters in his life. And she has this incredibly reactive face that's a total pleasure to watch. I was really impressed with it. I mean, it's a small, slight film, but it gets absolutely to the heart of the, strangeness of adults interfering and nosing through how kids are feeling at that particular point in their life. We don't have much more to talk about it, but it's take it from me, this is well worth seeking out.